Welcome to the Today in History channel. In today's video we will talk about the day, April 3, 1948. The Marshall Plan. After the Second World War, much of Europe was devastated. The civilian population had dwindled and many cities had become unhealthy ruins. The losses were very high and the forecasts of recovery in the short and medium term in the productive and economic spheres were not very encouraging. Regaining the pace of growth and pre-war European financial boom seemed difficult to achieve. Taking advantage of its victory in the war and its consolidation as a superpower, the United States created the Truman Doctrine, an economic and financial aid plan for those places where totalitarianism was imposed on individual freedoms and in any society where hunger and poverty were present. For the recovery of Europe through donations and loans, the Marshall Plan was developed, the most localized application of the Truman Doctrine, and the most important in qualitative and quantitative terms. It was signed in 1948 by Harry S. Truman, President of the United States, firmly convinced that supporting Europe in its reconstruction would prevent the continent from being affected by a new international crisis. Aid was not equitable, as the UK received about $7.5 billion in grants and loans, compared with France's $5 billion or Yugoslavia's $1.5 billion. The United Kingdom did not need such high figures, as its cities were barely bombed, while Belgium and Italy had been razed to the ground, which meant greater expense for their reconstruction. Although the United States supported all of Europe free from Soviet influence, it directed its economic aid mainly to the countries that most interested them, either because these countries constituted an important market for the Americans, or because of the affinity they maintained with them. In addition, they intended to prevent communist expansion across Europe. The end of the war meant an absolute victory for the Soviet Union, which managed to recover the lost territory for the Germans and even expand it. Tensions in Central Europe posed a threat to democracy, liberalism, and capitalism, and the instability of weakened and impoverished countries could motivate popular uprisings of a socialist character. With the perspective provided by the passage of time, it is possible to see the consequences that the Marshall Plan has brought to the current economy. The interest charges on the loans provoked an economic dependence that had a palpable American influence on the old continent. This influence can be seen at the cultural level. English has established itself as a common language par excellence among the non-English speaking population. Eating habits changed with fast food and smoking increased. With regard to the field of technologies, American inventions and companies dominate the market. The Marshall Plan has made a remarkable contribution to the achievement of the hegemonic power of the United States in the world. That aid from the American government somehow meant a new form of colonialism, propelled capitalism into a new phase, and provided excuses to justify the conquest of new territories. Did you like the video? In the description you will find the blog link with the full article. Give an incentive by subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. Hugs. Until the next.